I think we are ready to get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Julie Fong, and I'm the Region 9 TANF Program Manager, and I am so pleased to welcome you all on behalf of the Region 9 and Region 10 TANF teams to the virtual Region 9 and 10 State TANF TA meeting. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. We're really excited to connect with you all and are looking forward to talking with you all. In the spirit of racial equality, inclusion, and justice practices, I'd like to take a moment with a land acknowledgement. I'm speaking to you from the unceded ancestral lands of the Bay Miwok tribe, who are the historical stewards of this land here in Contra Costa County, where I'm speaking to you from. Our greatest objective for this meeting is to foster connection and a sense of belonging and community amongst all of you participating in this call. We would like to foster a community that can support and champion and inspire. We've all become really siloed, or many of us have become really siloed in our jurisdictions and organizations, especially with the various ways that we've been working virtually. So we're really hoping just to foster a sense of connection and engagement with all of you, even though we're virtual here. So to that end, you'll notice that we devoted a significant amount of time in the agenda to opportunities for dialogue and engagement rather than scheduling a whole lot of speakers. We also worked really hard, the Region 9 and Region 10 program specialist teams worked really hard to craft this meeting around topics that are genuinely relevant and meaningful to all of you based on targeted feedback, but also our month-to-month calls that the program specialists conduct with you. And to this end, the feedback that we received from you included a desire for a refresher TANF Essentials training, which we will be doing tomorrow. Opportunities to connect with your peers and learn from your peers in other TANF jurisdictions, and we're going to do that today. And strategies for creating human-centered programs in the context of this technology-heavy environment that we're all working in, and that's going to be on the last day. We've also thrown in a little inspiration for you, we hope, on the last day, so we're looking forward to that as well. But we hope that the sessions we present over the next 3 days are responsive and reflective of the feedback that you shared with us all. So on the screen, you'll see an overview of today's agenda items, and that includes an icebreaker. We're going to open with a quick 15-minute icebreaker, a peer share-out session where you're going to learn about what your peers are doing in their TANF jurisdictions, some reflections and dialogue after that share-out, and then a wrap up and debrief, and Patrick Hyman from Region 10 will close us out. We encourage you, if you aren't already, to come on camera if you're comfortable with that. We want to remind you all to keep your mics on mute unless you're asking a question or speaking. We also strongly encourage you to use the chat throughout the meeting to engage with us and one another. We've not included a scheduled break for today, so please take care of yourselves. Do whatever you need to do. Let's normalize that. Bio breaks, snacks, whatever. Cuddling your dog on your lap, those are all really good. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the amazing Region 9 and Region 10 specialists who worked so incredibly hard to pull, yes, jazz hands, Dr. Nicole, to pull this meeting together. Mika, Jennifer, Elma, Patrick, and Sam, who worked really hard to develop this meeting, as well as our wonderful partners at ICF and BLH. Thank you so much for your commitment, dedication, patience, and hard work. It's really grateful. And now I have the great pleasure to introduce our brand new Office of Family Assistance Director, Ann Flagg. Many of you know Ann from her previous role at APHSA, so you are aware of how fortunate we are, oops, as I cover up my camera, how fortunate we are to have Ann leading our office. Prior to her appointment at OFA, Ann was the Senior Director for Policy and Practice at the American Public Human Services Association. In this role, Ann supported public human service agencies in policy and practice development at the state and local levels. She previously served in a number of executive leadership positions at the Maryland Department of Human Services, most notably overseeing the state's economic supports program and leading cross-program and interagency efforts to improve economic and family well-being. Ann holds an undergraduate degree in sociology from Towson University and a master's of public administration from the University of Baltimore. I'd like to pass the mic to Ann.
Thanks so much, Julie. Well, this is this is extra fun because I have the opportunity of seeing so many of my great friends from Regions 9 and 10 who have been colleagues and thought partners with me for so many years. So it's really such an honor to be here in this role. So as Julie said, I'm the brand new Director of the Office of Family Assistance, the Administration for Children and Families. I'm thrilled to be joining you all here in one of my, first official state meetings. So appreciate the invitation and looking forward to joining you all as I can over the next couple of days. The theme of this week's convening, Reorient, Reset, and Rise, is timely as it speaks to the need to do these exact things. It also reflects the strategic priorities we aim to address at ACF, specifically within the context of the TANF program. This meeting is of great importance to me personally as someone who's always been motivated by a sense of service to strengthen and support children and families, including through my former work, as Julie mentioned, serving in various positions in state government and representing state government at APHSA. So I want to speak a little bit about the priorities at ACF. Our priorities are very much driven by a desire to advance equity and reduce structural barriers that prevent social and economic well-being. This primary objective undergirds many of our strategic goals and is an effort that must be tied to the TANF program. With TANF's focus on assisting needy families, promoting job preparation, and encouraging healthy families, your efforts, your programmatic approaches, your innovative policy solutions, and your holistic community partnerships are uniquely positioned to help social service systems meaningfully explore, address, and break down long-standing challenges in our communities. We also know, and at ACF prioritize, that as a community and a society, we must use whole family and community-led strategies to increase economic mobility. Not only does this strategic goal uniquely relate to the goals of the TANF program, but it is also inextricably tied to this week's learning. This week, you'll have the opportunity to hear from and engage with each of the 9 states and territories to share strategies and innovations between and across regions, and how all of you are focused on strengthening and adapting the TANF program to the changing needs of families and children. You will not only learn how TANF has, but also how it continues to respond to the needs of families, from pivoting to virtual service delivery, improving customer experience, and focusing on equity and inclusion for all. TANF is at the forefront of serving families. On Thursday, you'll have a panel of peers from California and Idaho, as well as Justin King of Propel Inc., discussing how programs across the country are infusing technology into their human services programs. Additionally, your inspirational speaker on Thursday, Dr. Terry Horton, a work futurist, will discuss the future of work as it applies to TANF participants and programs. So many facets of our lives have been disrupted over the last couple of years, from our school to our work and even access to the most basic necessities. Stressors placed on families, and particularly low-income families, have been significant and overwhelming. I hope that what you take away from this week further encourages and inspires each of your jurisdictions in moving forward with innovative and customer-centered approaches to supporting families and achieving financial stability. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today and your dedication and hard work supporting families. We value the work that you do every day. And thank you to the regional staff from Regions 9 and 10 for working to make this important meeting happen. It's really been an honor to be here today. I look forward to our work together and hope we have an opportunity to be together in person again soon one of these days and meet then. All right, well, thank you so much. Julie, turning it back to you.
Thank you so much, Anne. I echo that wish that looking forward to connecting in person in the future. So, but we're going to connect virtually right now through an icebreaker. We hope it's a fun icebreaker, short 15-minute icebreaker. Go to the next slide, please. We've got 3 discussion questions. We're going to put folks in a breakout room. You'll be randomly placed. You'll receive an invite. It'll pop up onto your screen, and please click join to enter that that breakout room when you see that little blue box. If you don't receive an invite, please ask for help in the chat box and our tech support will move you into a room. So the 3 questions that we are asking folks to dialogue about in the breakout rooms are, tell us what state you're in without telling us which state you're in. What's your favorite dessert and why? And if you had the authority to change one TANF rule, what would that be? What do you hope to gain from this meeting is the last question. So we are gonna prep the rooms and very shortly you will see a little blue box appear on your screen. Right, Dr. Nicole? I would pick all the desserts, I agree. So you will see a little blue box appear and please click on that box to join the breakout room. To our session, our peer share out session. Each of the jurisdictions that are here will present from on their program, highlighting elements of their TANF program, the things that they're energized about, and share what they hope to focus on in moving forward. This session will be moderated by the wonderful Dr. Nicole Bessard, who is a positivity strategist and consultant with TGC Consulting at ICF. She's amazing. We've been so fortunate to work with her for several years. Dr. Nicole is equipped with a PhD in leadership and change and infectious enthusiasm. I can attest to that. She leverages the power of purpose and positivity to initiate, plan, and sustain system change initiatives with organizations and communities across the country. With over 25 years experience consulting, Dr. Nicole has helped community and social service agencies align organizational values and business practices, strengthen accountability processes, improve collaborative partnerships and employee engagement, and dramatically expand leadership capacity throughout the agency partnership. Take it away, Dr. Nicole.
Okay, all right. You said it, not me. Okay, my wonder people. So before we get going, I want to kind of set a scene. So first of all, a couple of you have mentioned what it's like to be functioning inside of this virtual environment and how challenging it can be to connect. So I am going to ask, for the purposes of your peers who are going to be presenting, if your bandwidth and technology can handle it, and if your health can handle it, please put your camera on so that folks can have the benefit of actually seeing your beautiful beaming faces as we go forward today. The second thing that I want to ask before we jump in, Babs, I promise, Babs, you know me well. I'm going to eventually give you this microphone, so don't worry. I promise you, I'm going to give you this microphone. But here's what I would love to do before we do that. I'd love for you to grab a writing utensil of your choice, whatever you got, Sharpie, Kimberly, I see you. I think I probably see like a sparkly gel pen somewhere in your desk, right? Okay, right, blank sheet of paper. And here's what I would love for you to write on top of that sheet. These 3 words: energized, inspired, and on fire. Now notice, I did not say fire. I said fire. F-I-Y-A-H. On fire. So as my camera struggles to find its focus, what you see up there in those blurred lines is energized, inspired, and on fire. Fire. Thank you, Lupe, for keeping me honest and true. Fire. So here's what I want you to do with that blank sheet of paper. Please you can make it in landscape position. I want you to just take 2 lines and create 3 lanes on your sheet. So you're going to draw 3 lines, or 2 lines, excuse me, lengthwise to make 3 lanes. Oh, come on, girl. My little camera doesn't want to do what I want it to do. No worries. But then I want you to do this. You're going to make basically a big tic-tac-toe board. You might be able to see a little bit of the blur on my screen.
Dr. Nicole, I think it's because you have that background thing on,
blur.
that filter, whatever you call it.
Yes, Carrie, you're brilliant.
Tell Lupe that. I need her to know that I'm brilliant.
Yes. Thank you. Look at this. Okay, guys. So boom. Thank you, Carrie. So this is what you've got. We've got our 3 keywords: energized, inspired, well, our 4 keywords: on fire. And then we have our little tic-tac-toe board. As your colleagues are presenting, here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. As they're presenting, put the name of, the state who's presenting, put the name of the presenter so that you know who to follow up with if you hear some good stuff. If you hear what energizes you, inspires you, or has you on fire, you want to know, who am I following up with after I leave here? Okay? And then you just want to simply write down, what are the good ideas that I want to make sure that I keep track of as this person is presenting about the awesomeness of their program. Thumbs up if that makes sense. Big Kool-Aid grins if you're totally already on fire. Okay, I see a couple of Kool-Aid grins. I hope to find all 62 of you with big Kool-Aid cheese grins as we go forward. So here's what we'll do. Here is who is up first. Now that you guys have your tracking system set, we're going to begin with Babs Roberts out in Washington State. So thank you, Sujina. If you note your screen, you will see the outline that Babs and her team of mighty Washingtonians have put together. So what I want to do is I want to pipe down Babs and have you walk through this presentation, tell people what has you all inspired, energized, and on fire about what's happening in Washington State with your TANF program. Take it away, Babs.
That mute button just escapes me every time. Thanks, Dr. Nicole. Appreciate you. Love your energy. I'm going to keep my camera on as long as possible, but working from home today, so the bandwidth is, well, who knows? Who knows? So very quickly, I'm Babs Roberts. I'm the director for the Community Services Division in Washington State, and I am the TANF administrator for our great state of Washington. So Washington has a caseload size, the composition of our caseload. We serve about 30,000, just over 30,000 households on TANF, with an additional 1,100 or so that are on a state-funded program, mirror program. 34% of these homes are child-only, receive a child-only benefit. And in addition to serving children with ineligible parents, kinship caregivers, and legal guardians, we're one of just a few states that provides benefits in situations where children are living more informally with people who are acting in loco parentis. And then I think the last thing around composition caseload I would say is that we have 11 tribal TANF programs in our state. And we work pretty closely with those tribal TANF programs to learn from each other. So our program serves families for up to 60 months, and currently 13% of the caseload has a hardship extension. We have a little bit broader than the federal requirements in terms of our extension categories. We partner for our employment and training services with a cross-agency collaborative. So we work with a number of other state agencies and community-based organizations, including community and technical colleges. And some things we would note around this is that we do have paid internships. We call it community jobs. This program allows participating parents who may not have recent work experience to gain paid and unpaid work experience. We also have a really robust refugee and immigrant assistance program. We have a program that allows for us to braid our TANF funding with Office of Refugee Resettlement funds around employment and training programs for refugees and immigrants. And it's a pretty robust program we're very proud of. We have a lot of flexibility in our staffing model as well, that many of our case management staff really the bulk of our case management staff also have expertise and do eligibility work as well. So a client has sort of a one-stop there. And it also allows us to flex to where the need is most at any given point in time. A lot of our TANF block grant goes to childcare. Single programs for TANF and BFET participants and low-income working parents use multiple funding sources across our childcare programs, and TANF is a big part of that. And we do have a pass-through program for a child support pass-through program, $50 per month for one child and $100 for two or more passing through. I hope nobody's clocking me. It's terrible. Here we go to the next slide. So some recent ahas and things that are pretty exciting about Washington. We have more federal flexibility than we thought we did, which is so much fun to know. So having recently had some conversations and learning that some of the AFDC rules that are still on the books don't necessarily have to apply to TANF was so freeing for us. Constraints that we had been placing on ourselves and on how we treat income for TANF eligibility, requirements for eligibility, et cetera. So that was pretty fun. We also are strengthening our collaboration with community partners and advocates. We've gradually and intentionally improved relationships over the last few years, especially during this COVID crisis, but definitely we're heading in that way for a long time. Advocates are our partners and can sometimes really make things happen with our legislative partners that state agencies are sort of prohibited from doing. So collaborating with them is amazing, and they often have really awesome ideas. So some lessons from the pandemic: virtual services. Having to move to virtual services and doing most of our work virtually really gave a sort of rip the Band-Aid off type of nuance to moving case management to a virtual service in some ways. And while I don't know that we would want to make it solely case management via virtual services, what we are seeing post-pandemic is that many of our TANF clients are still choosing to interact with us in our call center environment versus coming into the offices. We also know we can't meet the needs of everybody. We serve in a virtual environment. There has to be this in-person and there has to be this virtual option, and that's really giving access and opportunity. TANF time limits. I'm just going to say aha moments for us. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We can, our time limits are a really problem, but we can define hardship very broadly and still stay within the federal limit of no more than 20% of the caseload receiving benefits for more than 60 months. And we've been able to do that throughout the pandemic, still only at 13%, and that's really good. I have, sort of issues around this because, and I'm glad about this and having an expansive time limit, because we have data that shows the disproportionate impact of time limits on certain racial and ethnic groups in our state, and we want to give people as much time as possible. We are just now resuming over the last year. We have been resuming participation requirements. When we hadn't had participation requirements or done much case management for a while, and now we're resuming, and it's been a rocky start. It's been especially difficult because of a staffing shortage that I know I'm singing to the choir about. Other states are experiencing the same things. And because right now eligibility has to come first. And so there's some of that work that we're still powering through. And then developing staff capacity and moving to a strength-based coaching model and away from this idea of compliance-based case management. And it's really it's a three-legged stool for us. It's first, training staff on coaching and communication. That's relatively easy. We get the curriculum, we do the training, staff love it, they're engaged in it. This is the work they wanted to do. But secondly, building opportunities to practice and receive feedback around that. That's a little bit challenging to figure out how to do when you have a staffing shortage and you have a lot of demand on your time. And then to do it in a way that doesn't feel, let me reframe, that feels like what we're asking staff to do with clients, that is coaching and is strength-based, right? We want supervisors and managers to lead by example in how they coach staff, so staff feel like that's how they work with clients. And then tailoring what we hold staff accountable to in terms of this, the performance metrics around it, and encouraging partnerships with people that we serve. These are the harder pieces for us, but we're working on that three-legged stool. And then I promise I'm on my last slide now. All right. So onward and upward, where are we going in the next year? We are working hand in hand with advocates and legislatures. Our legislature, we're working with community partners and state agency partners, really about improving TANF, making it more effective as a poverty reduction tool and moving forward and doing that work. It's really, really where our goal is. Many of you know Washington has a 10-year plan with goals and strategies and recommendations, and we are moving that plan forward and we are doing that work. And a lot of that plan talks about TANF in one way or another. We're talking about maintaining the spending power of cash benefits, looking to our legislature, hopefully this year, to help us tie TANF benefit levels to something that increases with inflation. What does that look like and how do we get that done? Would be wonderful. Looking to push our pass-through to 100%. For child support collected, and anything and everything we can think of that will smooth that benefit cliff that is associated with leaving TANF, and whether that's looking at expansive and short-term earned income disregards as people are leaving TANF, or post-TANF support services beyond what we already do is where we're going. We're looking at preventing families in crisis from having to liquidate all of their assets to get assistance. So really looking at expanding asset limits, resource limits, et cetera, and looking at providing supportive services at a level that really helps with transportation and housing and utility costs. We've been doing some great work around expanding that, some good work in the transportation area where it's not just a gas card or a bus pass, but it's really looking at how do we help people maintain vehicles, reinstate licenses, those kinds of things that really help people move forward. We are wholly and completely engaged in a cross-agency collaboration that will improve our IT systems. We have probably one of the most archaic eligibility systems and some really old and disintegrating case management and workflow systems that we have managed to tape together. Duct tape is our friend for a very long time. And now we're really seeing momentum on moving those systems forward and getting the needed changes that we should and could have that will really also help us to provide a more continuum of care model across the social service spectrum. Fine-tuning aspects of our case management. This is a big thing for us in the coming months and year in terms of what can be done virtually, where and for whom should we have more in-person options available. How do we get not just a virtual environment, call center environment, online environment, and an office environment, but how do we get our staff out into communities where the clients are and be there, and moving that forward. Along with that, strengthening referrals to programs that will help families, like home visiting programs, and doing that focus there. I've talked ad nauseum about our coaching culture, and that's our next step. And then last is development of a suite of performance measures that we can really use to hold case management staff accountable and still strengthen their skills. So that's Washington in a nutshell.
All right, Wonder People. So here's how we do it. So you see the format. I want to give you a minute to gather your thoughts. All of those things you were trying to hurriedly get down, take a minute, just kind of clean them up, get them situated so that when you come back to your notes, you can actually read them. And then we want to, as you all are finishing that up, I want to go ahead and get the woman from mighty Oregon ready to hit the board. Miss Claire Seguin. Am I saying it right, Claire?
Seguin, like sequin with a G.
Seguin. So take a couple of deep breaths, Claire, because we're going to come right back to you. You all take 30 seconds, look at your notes, circle the things that really stand out to you. You will be tested on this later, Priscilla. So, all right, no playing around. No playing around, Jack. No playing around, okay? No playing around. All right, Wonder People. Okay, so Babs really set us off. So you all see the format. Each of your colleagues was given a format to follow, 7 minutes to share what is exciting, what has them really excited to share with you all today. Where are they now? Kind of a snapshot, and then some onward and upward, right? So you're going to hear that flow repeated as we go through the presentations. Go on to your next block. We've got Claire coming up for Oregon. So I will start the clock for you, Claire, and you, my friend, take it away.
Thank you all so much. This is fun. My name's Claire Sequin, and I'm the Deputy Director for Self-Sufficiency for the Oregon Department of Human Services. I use she, her pronouns. And just coincidentally, I'm also the State Refugee Coordinator for Oregon. And so I'll talk a tiny bit about that in my presentation. I wanted to start off by just sharing probably the most important thing we're working on in Oregon right now at ODHS, and that is that we are trying to become an anti-racist organization. And this culture change work is massive in our organization, and it hurts, and it's joyful, and then it hurts some more, and it's hard, and we are working through it, and it is built into everything that we're trying to do. So I just want to set the stage by sharing that with you. And you'll notice on our first slide there, we have our vision. And that's the Oregon Department of Human Services envisions a future where all who live in Oregon, regardless of race, identity, or place, have the resources and support they need to achieve whole well-being for themselves, their families, and their communities. This is a new mission statement for us. And the other piece of this that I would like to call out for you is this idea about whole well-being, and the idea that we are, we're not even really using the phrase busting silos anymore. It's more than that. We are wrapping around our families. We are wrapping around each other, trying to provide the services that our family needs, because we have invited them to our decision-making tables to tell us what they need. So that is huge. We are doing some authentic community engagement like none other that has been done in Oregon. So we are super excited about all of that. So I wanted to start off with what I'm on fire about, and it's that work for sure. So with that, I'll get into some of the nuts and bolts pieces that I know we were all here to talk about today. I'm just going to kind of run down this list generally to tell you where we are generally, and then I'll get to some of the other exciting things. We are working right now actively to develop a program that has equity at the forefront of all our conversations. The work is being done and driven by community, for community, with community. And it is taking a look at every aspect of our program. And we're calling it our TANF Redesign. So we've invited folks to all kinds of conversations. We are picking apart everything we've ever done to say, is this the best for the people we serve? Is this the best use of money? Are there other things that we can leverage? Are there other ways that we can think about doing business? And then we're really willing to try to do that, right? So we've got some really cool legislative things that are on the docket that I'll share with you that sort of reflect that really intricate engagement. For the Job Opportunity and Basic Skills Program, we work with contract service providers throughout Oregon who offer a huge array of virtual and online trainings. We really feel like folks have stepped up in the virtual environment for us, which is really great. We're working to help families expand their skills, learning new life skills, and preparing resumes and all of those sorts of things. We also have our Family Support and Connections program, which is really our very tight partnership with our child welfare department in the agency. And we're looking to focus on prevention and family preservation with our investments there. And this is also an area where we're seeing new dialogue happening, new expansion happening, new investment from our legislature, because we are able to tie the work that we do to economic and concrete supports and really tell the story about the impact of an investment in a TANF dollar in a family and what it means for avoiding the child welfare involvement. And we're super excited about that collaboration really starting to become a different kind of focus for us. We also have our design and implementation team efforts, and they work with our family coaches, right? This is something we started a few years ago. It sort of changed the way we thought about interacting with families. We have a really cool assessment tool that we're using, and we are able to now aggregate some of the data using some new data systems. So that we can learn a little bit more about how families are moving through their lives, and is our help working to help them achieve the goals that they set for themselves through these assessment processes that we use. So we're really excited about that. Underneath the funding and budget category, I wanted to flag for you that one of the new ideas that's come out of the Tanf Redesign table is that we don't really have a set table where we are looking across all funding sources.
2 minutes, okay.
Claire. Interagency and external to places that we can leverage. And so we're really excited about that too. We're looking at sort of making how we make the funding sausage not visible to our clients, but how we actually make it so that they just get what they need and we figure out the details. So we've set a separate table for that. So we have some kind of standard Mo partnerships. I won't go into those. You might notice that we're missing childcare here. And part of the reason is because our entire childcare division is moving over to a new agency. And I know some of you on this call know what that's all about. So you can imagine how big that is. And that will happen officially as of 7/1/23. So lots of work happening around that. We can go to the next slide. What I wanted to share with you just generally is that in the last few years, we've had some really great wins with our legislature, super important, lots of allies there to look at this work. And with our redesign efforts, we have even more asks coming forward in the 23-25 biennial session. But in our 22 session, we had some incredible investment and huge wins for us. We were able to establish a triannual clothing allowance, a non-recurring sort of payment 3 times a year for families tied to the beginning of school, the beginning of winter, those sorts of things, right? So we're able to push that out. We increased our resource limit, which was a huge one. We modified the disqualification process with children in mind, ending full family sanctions. We again invested in our family support and connections to strengthen that child welfare connection. And then we're right now in the process of reviewing every single rule to see if we want to do anything different about how we wrote, how rules that were written years ago may or may not still apply today. We're super excited about that too. Then finally, on the last slide, I just wanted to highlight for you that as a result of this Tanf redesign effort, we're going in with the biggest ask we've ever made. We're asking to increase our cash grant amount. That's the number one thing that every family has said that they wanted and needed, and we know the data backs that up. And we're also increasing eligibility. So we're excited about those 2 things. There are a few other ideas in there as well, but those are 2 really important ones. And then lastly, we're able to ask for a big increasing in our housing support program. We have an existing partnership with our community action agency across the state. We're looking to add culturally specific providers into that network by investing more fully in some of our housing service support strategies. So that's a big one for us too. Lots of new contracting opportunities and barriers that come along with all this, but we think it's the right thing. Our families think it's the right thing. So we're going and we're doing and we're asking. It's going to be historic this year, I think, for us. So we're pretty proud of it.
Oh my goodness. The roof is on fire in Oregon. Come on. Okay, everybody, I hope you were taking notes like I was. Take a second, review your notes. Circle those things that really stood out for you, energized, inspired, or totally set you on fire. And don't you forget to write Claire's name next to that block. If you need to call that woman up, I want you to know who to call. Because if you call me, you know I'm going to have a dance out. Then we're going to call Claire. So, all right, make sure that you have tagged Claire appropriately. Claire, thank you so much for sharing all of the awesome things that are happening in Oregon. You all take a minute, review your notes, circle those things that really stood out for you, things you may have questions for. We are going to have some opportunity for some discussion. So please make sure that you are tracking those. And we are working now to find out if we can make these slides available to you all in some form after our meeting today. So you'll have a reference point to go back to, okay? So here's who we have up next. If I could have someone from the land of, is it the land of enchantment, Arizona? Or am I getting that mixed up with New Mexico? Okay. Raise a digital hand if you are here to set it on fire, to tell us what's going on with Arizona, so that we can let folks know who you are and who to follow up with when they hear your awesomeness. Is it Jeremiah?
It is.
Jeremiah, okay. Jeremiah, this is your stage. You've got 7 minutes. I feel like this is America's Got Talent, TANF style. Okay, Jeremiah, go ahead. I got you. I got the timer. It's all you.
All right. Well, I won't need 7 minutes, and I'm just going to start out with an apology to the team. In our haste to do all the things for everyone, this is one of the items that kind of fell off the radar. And so I'm here representing the Arizona Department of Economic Security, but I don't have anything prepared. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of kind of what we're doing in Arizona. And if anyone, I just want to say thank you so much for letting me participate and hear what everyone is doing. I'm so excited and really grateful for the opportunity to hear what you all are doing and potentially be able to, leverage that in Arizona. So the Arizona Department of Economic Security, we're actually celebrating our 50-year anniversary this year, and we are a mega agency. So we cover everything from SNAP food stamps to unemployment insurance and childcare and kind of all the things in between. We have a division of developmental disabilities, but we were really created in order to provide an integrated approach to human services. We serve approximately 3 million Arizonans annually through about 50 programs, including the TANF Cash Assistance Program. We provide a wide array of services delivered both virtually and in person throughout Arizona, and many of them funded through the TANF Block Grant, in our DES offices and via a network of community-based providers. Something that's a little bit different in Arizona is that we do split our funding with another agency within Arizona, the Department of Child Safety. So we also have 6 tribal TANF programs being run out of Arizona, and kind of working on strengthening our relationship with the sovereign nations within Arizona. Very excited about that. On the Department of Child Safety, they were actually pulled out of the Department of Economic Security in 2014, which is almost 10 years ago, but feels like for the department just happened. But they are comprised of the state child welfare program that was previously administered by the Department of Economic Security, including child protective services, foster care, adoption, comprehensive medical and dental program, which is the Medicaid program for children in state custody, and the Office of Child Welfare Investigations. So they provide also a wide array of services that provide critical resources and supports for families in alignment with the 4 purposes of TANF. They provide out-of-home support services for families involved in the child welfare system that are intended to facilitate the reunification of out-of-home children and their biological families and reduce the probability that high-risk families have children enter out-of-home care in the first place. They provide emergency and residential placement, adoption services, and some of the TANF funding is also used for caseworkers in the Department of Child Safety. Something that I just wanted to note, beginning in the summer of 2021, and really before that, but announced in the summer of 2021, they started a redesign of the parent skill building services, including family connections and nurturing parent program. And the vision of this system improvement is to create a service array that is individualized, relevant, engaging, coordinated, consistent, and effective, while also bringing our department, or the Department of Child Safety, into alignment with the Families First Prevention Services Act. So they are hoping that their new services that they offer will be trauma informed, integrate family engagement strategies to improve service participation and be delivered with consistency across providers to ensure that all families are getting the best opportunity to be protective, healthy, and strong. They're looking to decrease repeated reports to the Department of Child Safety, decrease the number of children entering out-of-home care, and decrease racial disparity in foster care, while increasing the percentage of children who leave foster care by reunifying with a parent. We are here at the Department of Economic Security. We have a number of initiatives on our strategic plan that will support and strengthen families in Arizona, including implementing a client experience initiative that is centered around increasing accessibility to our programs, and a community navigator program that is going to leverage our local agencies and local community partners to be able to provide navigation services for the families that we serve. And we also have client service continuity and benefit churn reduction projects. So like I said, just a quick overview, and I know I said a lot of words. What we're really interested in Arizona is breaking down those silos that we talked about earlier. One of the silver linings of having TANF kind of broken out between multiple divisions and multiple departments in the state of Arizona is that we have an opportunity to leverage each other and to be working across agencies and even within the agencies across divisions. So our vision is to work with you all to learn how you have done this important work in making sure that families don't have to navigate these really complex bureaucratic systems in order to get out of crisis or stay out of crisis or to break the cycle of poverty. So thanks, everyone.
That's the way we do it in Arizona. Thank you, Jeremiah. Fantastic. So I forgot something last time, Wonder Team. This is for Claire and Jeremiah on 3. 1, 2, 3. Round of applause. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you. Okay, so you all know how we do. Take 30 seconds, hit your notes. So you heard about that whole community navigation, breaking down silos, leveraging the best across multiple agencies. So whatever stood out to you that has energized you, that has inspired you, that has you thinking new thoughts, seeing from different perspective, or that's just set you on fire from Arizona, go ahead and jot it down. And thank you. We want to go ahead and give, as you all are continuing to attend to your notes, we want to go ahead and have folks from the wonderful state of Nevada get ready to rock. So I am welcoming, I believe, Kelly Cantrell. So you can raise a digital hand, Kelly. And if you can, if your technology can handle it, go ahead and put your camera on. We would love to see you as you break down the awesome.
Hi there. Tanya Stevens is going to present for Nevada today.
Okay.
And
as I was saying, Tanya Stevens, go ahead and turn that camera on. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Put you on the spot. Thank you. All right. So Tanya, I am going to pipe down. Everybody go ahead, get back to your tic-tac board of awesomeness. And we are headed to the wonderful state of Nevada. Hey, what happens in Nevada stays in Nevada until today. So let's bring some goodness. Let's bring some awesome. And I hand it to you, Tanya.
Thank you. So I apologize. It doesn't look like my camera is cooperating.
No worries. We have your audio now, and I don't want to mess with the Zoom gremlins, Tanya. I don't want to tempt fate too much.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Stevens. I'm the new chief of the Eligibility and Payments Unit for the Nevada Division of Welfare and Supportive Services, which resides within the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services. And the goal of the Nevada Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program is to provide assistance and services to needy families in an effort to reduce or eliminate barriers within the federal and state prescribed timeframes through the implementation of services consistent with the 4 purposes of TANF. I just want to ask real quick, are you guys hearing feedback or am I fine?
It's intermittent. It's like there and then it's out. Like it's clear and then it gets feedbacky.
Let me try and adjust that just real quick.
Okay. E-Rock, do you have a solution or an idea?
I'm actually not hearing any feedback on my end.
Ah,
I
okay.
would just make sure that if you're not speaking, to please make sure your mic is muted, and you can find that at the bottom bar of your Zoom window.
Thank you. So Nevada's TANF program is state administered through the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services. You might hear me refer to that as DWSS. We obviously offer benefits and services to needy families with children or expecting children. Our TANF-NEON program is our mandatory work program developed to assist needy families and caregivers. It provides cash assistance, case management, and support services to address barriers to employment and family wellness. Good, I'm glad it's better now. Thanks, James. As well as services to assist work-eligible individuals attain the education, job skills, and experience necessary to obtain and maintain gainful employment. Then we have our child-only TANF program, which is designed for households that do not have a work-eligible individual, and that includes non-needy caregivers, kinship care, and also ineligible non-citizens with eligible children, as well as households where the parent is an SSI recipient, and also fictive kin. Child-only programs provide cash assistance benefits based on the number of eligible children in the household. Nevada provides up to 60 months of TANF assistance in accordance with Nevada revised statute. Eligible households which have received benefits for 24 months, whether consecutive or cumulative, are prohibited from receiving additional benefits for 12 consecutive months unless the household is suffering from a hardship. And then after the household has been off cash assistance for 12 consecutive months, the household may reapply for cash benefits, and if eligible, receive up to another 24 months, as long as the family remains eligible, of course. The household will then be required to remain off cash assistance for another 12 consecutive months. Once they've met that 12-month requirement, then they have the opportunity to seek another 12 months of cash assistance. And in state fiscal year 2022, which for us is July to June, Nevada served approximately 16,000 recipients, or an estimated 6,000 TANF households. Next slide, please. All right, what we're energized about. Nevada is really energized and excited about our ongoing efforts to build and maintain partnerships throughout the communities to strengthen families. Through our partnerships with employers, state and county agencies, as well as nonprofit organizations, we strive to connect needy families with benefits and services that can help improve their circumstances. These partnerships allow for more effective and efficient delivery of programs while minimizing duplication of effort. And through our outreach services and many other community partnerships, we are able to increase our reach to educate families about the availability of TANF benefits and services, as well as other services available throughout the community. We often have the opportunity also to connect community organizations to collaborate on ways we can all work together to provide a more holistic approach. Currently, we have 164 outreach sites with 44 family services specialists serving those sites. We are working to build that to 60 within the coming year. And we have approximately 100 sites on the waiting list who want to have DWSS representation at their agencies. But like many other states, we are struggling to fill those. We currently have 165 family service specialist vacancies. Next slide. So as we think ahead, some success factors we hope to amplify include increased customer engagement. Engaging our participants is a must to help ensure an improved outcome for their future. And communication with their families as well as with our many partners further strengthens their likelihood of success. We hope to gain a better understanding of the needs and barriers faced by our TANF population by encouraging their input and feedback, and then by taking that information to the table when contemplating policy changes, new policies, and new partnerships. We hope to have more of an impact in the ways we can support a family's growth. And then all of these success factors allows us to continue our forward progress on service delivery. They also improve our chances of having a positive and lasting impact on the families we serve. And that is the end of my presentation. Did I stay on track?
You did. You did. You literally have 30 seconds. You literally have 30 seconds, Tanya. So Nevada, the mighty women from Nevada, anybody want to fill your 30 seconds with, I don't know, an interpretive dance, song, whatever? You know, we're down. We're flexible here. This is how we do things. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you guys know how we do. Grab those pens. Go ahead. Get to that Nevada, get to that Nevada block. And please note, whatever stood out for you, what has you energized, what has you inspired, and of course, we cannot forget what has you on fire. What has you on fire? Those new partnerships, increased customer engagement. What is it that has you excited about what's going on in the state of Nevada? Okay, so go ahead and finish up those final notes. And now we're going to bring to the stage our very own Zoom gladiator. We are going to actually hear from Catherine Scardino, who I have now affectionately called Zoom Gladiator. You all may not have noticed she got kicked out literally while Tanya was presenting and came back in right at the 30-second mark. So you talk about impeccable timing. So here we go. Catherine, take it away. You all get those pens ready. Catherine, I give the mic and stage to you, my friend.
Thank you, Dr. Nicole. My name is Catherine Scardino. I'm the administrator for Hawaii's TANF program. So Hawaii's TANF program is state administered under the Department of Human Services through the Benefit Employment and Support Services Division. Historically, our TANF program was administered by two different program offices. Then in April 2021, the state established a new TANF program office, consolidating both the eligibility and work program into one office. Next slide, please. Hawaii's TANF program has two types of benefits, federal TANF and state MOE, which we call temporary assistance for other needy families, or what we pronounce TANF. In response to welfare reform, Hawaii established TANF to ensure that the state continues to provide financial assistance to families that would have continued to be eligible under AFDC. Households where all family members are U.S. citizens receive their benefits under federal TANF, while households with at least one member that is a non-U.S. citizen or a migrant under the Compact of Free Association, or COFA, receive their benefits under TANF. Other than the funding source, eligibility and work participation policies are the same for both TANF and TANF. Next, okay. Hawaii has a total of 21 processing centers statewide. Their responsibilities are represented by the yellow boxes. We also have 22 work program offices called First to Work. Processes conducted by First to Work are represented by the blue boxes. Families may apply for assistance by either submitting a hard copy application or apply online through our public assistance information system. During an applicant's eligibility interview, our processing centers determine whether a household includes a work-eligible individual, other work-eligible individual, or OWA, or a non-work-eligible individual, or NWA. We establish the OWA status for those who are temporarily disabled or in a domestic violence crisis. OWAs are also required to participate with the First to Work program. However, they may not necessarily be required to fulfill the work participation requirements. It all depends on their treatment or individualized service plan. After their interview, applicants are referred to the First to Work program to complete the upfront participation requirements as a condition of eligibility. Applicants are required to attend an orientation session and complete 1 full week of work participation within a 21-day period. Once an applicant fulfills the upfront requirement, then the First Work staff notifies the processing centers when they're who then processes their application. Next slide, please. We are energized about changing our approach to servicing our recipient households by integrating the principles of 2Gen. We decided to first invest in our staff by providing various trainings. Between 2018 and late 2020, we provided our staff with refresher training on domestic violence crisis and new trainings on motivational interviewing, financial literacy, vocational rehabilitation, and coaching for success. To begin the integration of 2Gen and applying the holistic approach in servicing families, we launched 2 pilot projects. First, integrating public health nursing services into our First Work program and providing employment services for non-custodial parents. We partnered with the Department of Health to provide 3 public health nurses dedicated to service participants from 2 designated First Work units. The nursing services include, but are not limited to, performing health assessments, monitoring families' receipt of healthcare services, identifying family health behavioral patterns, and providing education of preventive care. The nurses meet families through home visits. We also partnered with the Department of Attorney General, Child Support Enforcement Agency, to provide employment services to non-custodial parents. Employment services include coaching, resume development, job search assistance, and job placement services. We are now developing a new and comprehensive assessment tool that is modeled after the Online Work Readiness Assessment, or ORA. This new assessment tool will help our staff to assess families on pertinent aspects of their lives, including their health and well-being, household budget, housing situation, transportation needs. Next slide, please. We are also energized about the expansion of our support services. So on July 1st of this year, Governor Ige signed House Bill 2233, which established our new housing assistance for TANF and TEON recipients who participate with the First Work program. Participants may receive up to $500 per month of housing assistance so long as they remain engaged and fulfill their goals of their employment plans. In addition, we receive funding to reestablish our exit and employment retention bonus program. First Work participants who successfully exit TANF or TEON with full-time employment may be eligible to apply for a bonus payment at the point of exit and at 3, 6, 12, and 24 months following their exit from the program, provided they retain their full-time employment during the 24-month period. We hope to implement the housing assistance and bonus program in early 2023. Next slide. Onward and upward. We will continue to prioritize our partnerships with the Department of Health and CSEA to continue and expand our pilot projects. We also place priority to establish the new housing assistance and to reestablish the bonus program. These, in addition to other supportive services that we currently provide, will help to close the gap between a family's ability to meet their needs and Hawaii's cost of living. Lastly, we will assess our eligibility criteria and income thresholds because Hawaii's state minimum wage will increase incrementally beginning October when it goes up from $10.10 to $12 per hour. Thereafter, our state minimum wage will increase by $2 every 2 years up to $18 per hour in January 2028. So currently a family of 3 can earn about $14.50 per hour and still qualify for benefits. So it is important for us to update our eligibility policies to ensure low-income and underemployed families may qualify for financial assistance. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
See, this is how Zoom gladiators do. They leave time on the board. Come on. Give her the visual. Give her the visual. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you with cameras off, give her a little digital hand clap. Thank you to the Zoom gladiator. Breathing your way right back into the room. We appreciate you, Catherine. All right, so you all know what to do. Take a moment. You're going to grab your pen. I'm going to give you a little writing music, a little flow music. What did you hear that has you energized, inspired, that's firing off some new ideas for you? It's really kicking your creativity into high gear, that's got you on fire. You about to have a tent meeting out in your TANF parking lot when you go to work tomorrow. All right, what's got you jazzed up? All right, take a few minutes. Really, that means 30 seconds in Napoleon time. There's a lot of jokes to that for those that don't work with me regularly, but we'll just leave it at take a few seconds. Get yourself together. Okay, and in the meantime, while you all are tidying up your notes, I want to go ahead and switch over to California. Christina Meza, I want to go ahead and bring you up. And if Sujina, oh, there we go, your slides are ready. Christina, we are ready for you. You came in bringing the heat, and we are ready for you to set it on fire. So take it away.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Nicole, and thank you so much, everyone, for sharing so many great things happening in the other states, and it's so exciting to have a space to be able to learn and hear about the work you all are moving forward. My name is Christina Mesa. I'm really excited to join you all this afternoon. I'm the chief of the CalWorks and Family Resilience branch here at the Department of Social Services, which is our TANF program. So excited to share a little bit about how our program is structured and how we operate here in California. So what you see here, and some of you may be familiar with our structure, but we are a state oversight entity at CDSS, and our programs and services are operated and administered at the county level. So we have 58 different programs that are operated across the state for each of our 58 counties here in California. We've also listed some critical partners that support a lot of the work that we do in California, one being the County Welfare Directors Association, or CWDA, which is California's nonprofit arm that supports and represents all of the 58 counties and provide a lot of support for those counties and work directly with us in policy development. And then, of course, we work with our clients and advocates, staying true to that human-centered design and approach to how we deliver our services. I also will say in California, we serve about 320,000 families in our TANF program or in CalWorks. So fairly large program, and not only are we overseeing the CalWorks program within our branch, but we also are responsible for overseeing the CalWorks Home Visiting Program, which is a sub-program that is offered in 41 now counties across the state for those that have infant, newborn children up to the age of 2, to support with navigation services to other critical resources that new family would likely need. We also support our Tribal TANF program and our Indian Health Clinic program across the state, in addition to a few other initiatives such as Promise Neighborhoods. And then we're also supporting the newly launched Guaranteed Income program here in California. With that, if we could go to the next slide, and I'll highlight, I know we've only got a few minutes. I definitely want to spend some time highlighting all of the changes that have happened in California with our TANF program or CalWorks here over the last couple of years, all with this huge focus and emphasis around equity. I'll go through some initiatives that we had a lot of support and backing from our state legislature, and I'll try and plug in numbers so that way you guys get a sense of scale for the investments of each of these different initiatives, and happy to chat more offline if folks are interested in learning more about how we were able to move forward on some of those investments. So with the focus on equity, I think the biggest item we really want to bring attention to and highlight is the work that we were able to do, or we recently launched, around racial equity and implicit bias training. So I'm going to skip around a little bit. I'll come back to outreach in a bit, but that second bullet item on the bottom there, we received an investment last July of $13 million to support statewide training for any county level worker who touches a program participant in our CalWorks program. And they are now required to take implicit bias training in addition to supporting a statewide racial equity plan. Our plan to roll out this training is due to our legislature in December of this year. So we're really excited. We're right now in what we're coining as the landscape analysis phase, where we are surveying our clients, we're surveying our county partners, as well as other stakeholders to try and determine what it looks like now on the ground with local efforts around racial equity and implicit bias, and using that to inform the final plan that we are planning to release this December. Right after the release of the plan, our hope is then in January to begin the launch of the training statewide. We are very fortunate in California. While we have that $13 million investment on the TANF side, we also were able to match that for our SNAP program, or we call it CalFresh in California, our SNAP program. So we'll be expanding it to make sure all workers across the state, whether they're serving clients in that CalFresh space or the CalWork space, are required to receive this training. And looking forward to figuring out and navigating collectively across the state how we make this a permanent fixture in our program. So a lot of exciting work there, working with some really great organizations and nonprofits, from an organization called Unconscious Bias, which worked with that entity CWDA that we shared earlier, around making sure that we truly are integrating equity in this work. And then also working with a wonderful organization called the Novel Solutions. Going back to our outreach strategy, so we are definitely learning a lot in this racial equity implicit bias initiative stage. I'll share a link to our webpage below on the REIB initiative. And we are using what we're learning in this space to inform our outreach strategies. We also saw last year $3 million investment to start the first ever CalWorks outreach campaign. I mentioned earlier, we serve about 320,000 families in our program. In some initial data analysis, we were able to discover that we are only reaching about 60% of the eligible population in our state. And so want to do a lot more to make sure that other 40% are getting access, are gaining access to our program. And we also recognize that there are a lot of stigmas that are attached to our programs, a lot of need to integrate things like dignity into our outreach strategies. And so we're really excited about learning from this racial equity work that we're doing to inform our outreach strategies statewide. So excited about the work that's happening there. I do want to highlight, we've got 2 buckets of outreach work that we're doing in California. There's this $3 million investment that we received from the legislature to support that outreach, to get that take-up rate, is what we're calling it in CalWorks, increase, right? Increasing that 60% that we're currently reaching. And then the second bucket of outreach is making sure that the families we are serving are connected to critical services and benefits outside, above and beyond just CalWorks. And this, to me, I feel like really ties into the TANF modernization framework that many of us on this call have been working with APHSA on. Again, about bringing in equity into our work, but also making sure that wellness is at the center of the outcomes that we'd like to see achieved by the families that we are serving. And in that space, we've been able to do some really creative tax outreach, where we're able to get those critical economic supports when folks do file their taxes, and get access to things like the earned income tax credit or the child tax credit. Getting our families connected, and we were able to do so in a way that we were able to do targeted outreach, which was really exciting for the first time. We were able to identify like who in our caseload has not filed for taxes, and then really target that population. Yep, see you 2 minutes. So excited about that work. And then we also launched a state park pass outreach, where we were able to get all of our families free park passes to all of California's wonderful parks in the state. So a lot of exciting work happening there. We'll just touch on home visiting. I mentioned it earlier. In January, we released our evaluation, because we did not launch home visiting until 2019. So new program didn't launch and really didn't pick up until the middle of the pandemic. Very difficult to do when the center of your program is all about home visits. So a lot of lessons learned about how we were able to pivot to virtual visits and telehealth type services, and getting access to things like smart books to our participants. So we'll share some links to the evaluation work there. Have increased our tribal TANF engagement strategies with our tribal partners. Really excited about the work that we're doing in that space. A lot of policy changes. We've expanded access to CalWorks. As soon as you are pregnant, you can enroll in our program. Before, you had to wait until that second trimester. We also increased our maximum aid payment. So a family size of 3 is now receiving approximately, the maximum aid payment they can receive is just under $1,300 a month. So really increasing the dollars that are going out to our families as well. And then also try to make it easier for folks to access our program, where they don't have to come in person to do any verifications. It's all virtual. We have a new system called Benefits Cal to help support that virtual access into our program that we launched during the pandemic and is still in several phases of launch that we're really excited about, and had many COVID response efforts, from pausing time clocks entirely in California, which didn't start ticking until this last May. And yeah, so thank you. Lots of work there. And then if we could go to the last slide, just want to highlight some of our agency strategies that, again, very much mirror some of that work that we were doing in partnership with APHSA around TANF modernization. Thank you.
I got the soundtrack. Give her the visual. Come on, give it up. Don't be stingy now. Don't be stingy now. Come on. Come on. All right. So, all right, Christina, I wasn't playing with you. You came in with some heat and set the whole Zoom room on fire. So go ahead. You all hit that block. Get that California block. I had to take up 2 blocks for you, Christina, with all the things you guys are doing in California. So go ahead and note down what has you energized, inspired. What has you absolutely on fire? What new idea, what strategy, what innovation did you hear from our peeps over in California that have you thinking about some new ideas you could set off in your neck of the woods? Take a moment, circle your notes. You will be referencing those in just a moment. And with that, as you are finishing that up, I want to go ahead and have Christine San Nicolas to get ready. Excellent. There she is. To let us know, Christine, we are all sending you so much love right now. What time is it there? It's 6. Is it 7 a.m. yet?
It's around 7 a.m.
Okay.
7:30 actually.
So now listen, I want this noted. Look at your Office of Family Assistance. They got y'all time traveling. Come on, you don't need to be Jeff Bezos. You can just work the TANF program. Okay, Christine, I leave it to you, my friend.
Good morning, everybody from the island of Guam. Welcome to the future. It is a Wednesday here, so. I'm Christine San Nicolas. I am the Bureau of Economic Security Program Administrator. I have been with the department for over 24 years. But just started working with the work program section for about maybe 17 of my lifetime. And I love it so far. So lots of great things. So to kind of give you a snapshot of Guam, of course, our TANF program is within the Department of Public Health and Social Services Division of Public Welfare. We do have an eligibility system that is interfaced with other programs such as our TANF, our Medicaid, our food stamps, SNAP program, and our MIP, which is our medically indigent program, which is a local funded insurance. We do have, so all of our eligibility staff are basically general, they're not specific. So they handle all programs overall. What I wanted to mention was that the TANF, or the work program side of the house, was previously under the Bureau of Management Support, which housed quality control and the Investigation Recovery Office. But of March of this year, that is now under my umbrella with the Bureau of Economic Security. So it used to be that way before, and we brought it back. So it's more aligned now, which fits. We have a total of 24 eligibility staff. Like everybody else, we're still struggling with staff coming in and out. But we are getting the vacancies filled up to kind of help us with the processing. We still have a 16-month time limit for TANF that has not changed on cash assistance. We have 3 different locations, or what we call satellites. Our island is very small, so we have a central, a northern, and a southern location. Either way, you can get there within 30 minutes. So not far to drive. And again, our clients have an option of submitting applications to any of the locations. They can submit it via email, they can submit it online if they would like to. Once the application is approved, how our program works is once their TANF application is approved, the applicant actually gets referred to our jobs program. And so before they even get their cash assistance, we've implemented, which we call the pay for performance activities, which is something that we actually took. I wasn't quite sure if it was which region that we took it from, but we kind of we took that idea and applied it to our participants. So they would have to meet 4 different types of activities, which is attend our orientation, register and link with the American Job Center, which we have a very close relationship with, and then submit a work experience contract, and of course, complete an initial assessment with a social worker. What this allowed us to do is it allowed the families, we kind of wanted to empower the families to decide, is TANF really for you? Right, so they get that opportunity to decide, okay, whether I need TANF or not, or can I go ahead and survive without it for now, or just aggressively look for employment. So again, we kind of put the onus on the applicant. So we do offer support services such as transportation, work-related reimbursements, childcare assistance, and of course, opportunities to earn a high school diploma. So we pay that 100%. So we have an understanding with our Guam Community College, which handles the adult education programs. And we also have one nonprofit organization who also does that as well. Next slide. And I forgot to point out that in terms of our population size for benefits, so about maybe less than 6% is actually on our cash assistance. We have about maybe less than 3,000 families on cash assistance. So our caseload is very small compared to all the other different states. So what we're really excited about is that we want to revitalize, we call this the Hudson Program, which is helping to achieve a TANF success through engagement with educational certification. So we actually had a fast track program about a couple years ago with our Guam Community College, and we did the Certified Nurse Assistant program. And it was an intense, small pilot project where we put them through training, send them to school. That's all they focused on, maybe less than 20 students per cycle. And in that, besides on-the-job training, they've got their internship. We provide them employment, pre-employment services and post-employment services. And that was our most successful because actually many of them actually have gotten hired by our respective clinics or hospitals. So we kind of want to bring that back into our program. And again, as I said, that it's to kind of help them there is a brighter future to TANF to help their families, that it's we can remove that stigma of those not wanting to work and not wanting to participate. We also want to pilot and explore employment training program for subsidized employment. Most of our participants are in an unpaid work experience, and they may not have the understanding of what it's like to earn money. So we're trying to build that in terms of our families and kind of have like a tiered level approach. Of course, working with our American Job Center as well to get them into that. And then financial literacy is another portion that we want to incorporate into our program. Our hope is also to kind of increase working in terms of increasing our benefit level. I mean, for family size of 1, they get like $151. That's just not doable anymore, not with this economy. So we have been working very closely with ACF. Thank you, Mika and Julie, for their support and kind of helping us get there. And then, of course, implementing other programs, which is our non-recurrent short-term benefits. I just wanted to say that with the work program section, sorry if you see my cat running behind me, that's my baby Huxley. Sorry, it can become distracting. Anyway, so I had a staff of 8, and I am now down to a staff of 2. So if you can imagine all of these type of activities that we want to do or to accomplish, it's going to take some time, but I am energized. I am on fire. And I plan, I plan to move forward with it, no matter what challenges come our way. Is that the last slide? I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, there you go. One more slide. Sorry. So again, for Guam, partnership with our private sector educational institutions. Again, still kind of continue that positive relationship with our Department of Labor. Kind of build up our staff capacity to believe in the mission, the purpose, and the vision of where I want to see the program go. And of course, participant testimonials, because that kind of, to hear it from other people who have gone through it, kind of gives our participants a sense of hope that they can actually succeed. So I fully believe in peer-to-peer empowerment. I'm done.
Okay. Okay.
I'm good. That's all for me.
Let's
The
give
island
it
of Guam.
Give it up for Guam, holding it down. Speaking to us from the future. I love it. And please duly note, OFA supports time travel. Yes. Okay. So go ahead, you all take your notes, fill in that block. Thank you, Christine, for setting it off for us about all the awesome things that you all are doing in Guam. And as you all are preparing and just kind of circling what stands out, what's got you inspired, what's got you thinking differently, what is really amping up your energy, I want to go ahead and call Shonda O'Brien from Alaska up to the stage. Give you a little walk-on music, Shonda. Get you a little stroll-on music. Okay. All right, Wonder People. So let me go ahead and have Shonda. We will transition to you as you walk us through the awesomeness that is Alaska. Take it away.
All right, thanks so much. I'm kind of in the same boat as Jeremiah. I sort of put this off to the last minute, got busy with other work. So our presentation is primarily focused around our work services activities. But just to give you a little bit of an overview about Alaska's plan or our current snapshot, we have a very small caseload. So in Alaska, we are serving about 1,600 families. And so maybe a lot smaller than some of the other states that we heard from today. We do partner with our tribal organizations. We have 7 tribal organizations in Alaska who also operate and administer their own program. Alaska is very rural. So we have many communities that are not connected by a road system. So that can really have an impact on opportunities for some individuals to seek employment or to get back to work. Those communities are oftentimes very closed and job opportunities might be non-existent in some cases. Outside of that, I think in terms of how we perform work in our state, I am the director for the Division of Public Assistance, which means that we administer the traditional public assistance programs, very similar to some of the other states here, but I also administer the Child Care Assistance Program, Women, Infant, and Children's programs. So all in all, we have about 17 different programs under the umbrella of the Division of Public Assistance. We also administer Medicaid, and so it helps to kind of create that safety net service for these families that we're hoping to accomplish. So the snapshot for our work services or our work-related activities is that we have a case management process. So we utilize staff within the division as well as partners with contracted agencies. We refer services by our eligibility staff. So eligibility staff perform the activity of determining if a family is eligible for TANF, and then from there, the referral is made to our case staff. Our self-sufficiency planning is emphasized on our work participation rates. I think earlier in our meet and greet, we were talking a little bit about how we'd like to see some of those things change in the future. And then we spend a lot of our work-related efforts on supportive services. So we look at some of the unique circumstances around families in our state that are challenging. Yeah, I think some states have mentioned some of the things that we do as well. Some of it has to do with, mechanics of vehicles and getting people tools and equipment, or sending them to vocational technical trainings and things like that to get them into maybe a different field of work. And then we have struggled to meet our work participation rates in many years. And so we've been successful more recently in accomplishing that rate. Next slide, please. So some of the successes that we've had, and I think that, our team has been really great in looking at partnering with our Department of Labor. In our state, that relationship has been strained for a long time. And so we've added this to our list of successes. We are in the midst of working out some of the technical details around that relationship. And so Over the course of the last 6 months, they've been discussing how to make that referral process easier for recipients and how to maybe engage better in some of the career supports and trainings. Right now in that relationship, I think we're starting, as we're implementing it, we're starting to realize that there may be some areas that we need to go back and discuss with the Department of Labor staff so that they have a little bit better understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. But between, the conversations that have been happening and some of the work that's already underway, we're already starting to see that there is going to be some great successes in the future from a lot of that work. I think that was all for that side. If you want to go to the next slide, we can talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing in the future. Was that my last slide? Okay, sorry. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So we are really energized about system replacement. So our state was the subject of a cyber attack last year. It took out our case management system as well as several other systems in our division. So the staff and the contracted support staff were without a case management system for most of the last state fiscal year. Because of that, we also decided that it was a good time for us to start looking at replacing our system entirely. We are actively pursuing 4 different system replacements right now. So there's a lot of work being done to modernize and come into the more recent technical enhancements that other states may have already experienced. We are looking to have systems that are integrated and can speak to each other. So whether you're doing case management for TANF or whether you're doing eligibility for Medicaid or SNAP, or whether you're determining eligibility for the child care system, we want all of those different systems to have the ability to work together and make it more streamlined and efficient. So we're targeting a replacement goal date of federal fiscal year 24 in hopes that we'll be able to stick to that timeline, and this will make our casework a lot easier to manage, but I think we'll also start to see some benefits of exploring other data options as well. And then employment and training service delivery is in the works for the current federal fiscal year. We engage with Change and Innovation Agency. They have been working with our state for over a decade to do business process improvement for our eligibility related work. And we just recently engaged with them with our work services team so that we can start looking at the benefits of streamlining and making our processes more efficient by having a more statewide case management approach. And so they've given us their recommendations and we're working now to put those in place.
1 more minute, Shonda, 1 minute.
That's it for Alaska.
Oh, early. All right. Okay, guys, you know how we do. Let her see it. I'll give the soundtrack. You give the visual. Awesome. Take a minute. Check your notes. Thank you so much, Shonda, for bringing Alaska in and letting us know the awesomeness that is happening up yonder. And so here's what I'd love to do. Give you a minute. Get your notes down on Alaska, and then we're going to get you set up for our final activity. So take a moment, get your Shonda notes together, and then I want you to review all of your notes. Remember, I was talking about that test that will be coming up later? The Iceman cometh. Okay. Now, if my clock is right, we have a little under 10 minutes for the session. Is that correct? Or is my clock wrong? Julie?
That's right, Nicole.
Okay. So we have a little under 10 minutes. So here's what I'd love for you all to do. Go ahead, and as I shared with you earlier, I wanted you to circle some things because I wanted you all to have an opportunity, or your OFA staff wanted you to have an opportunity for you to now think for yourselves, okay, based on what I've heard today, What is it? What specifically, and I'm going to put these questions in the chat for you. Which state program, service offering, what has you hopeful, excited? What has you on fire and inspired? Go ahead and pull those pieces out so that you can easily see them and share them. And then we want you to be thinking about why. Why is it meaningful for you? Why is it energizing for you? And then the last piece is, you'll see it right here on your screen. I'm going to ask you to leave off the challenges piece. You're going to pick one of the 3 top bullets to share in this activity. Okay, so which service or program offering, really makes your heart sing? Why does it do so? What do you plan to adopt based on what you heard today? Based on what you heard from folks within this Regions 9 or Region 10, what is something that you want to go to work on? What do you want to get into beast mode on after today? Okay? So now that you've got your notes, is everybody clear? Give me thumbs up in the screen or a digital thumbs up if you know what you're sharing, you know what you're going to do. Here's what I'd love to do. Since we've got 7 minutes, I just told my comadre, E-Rock, you know what? I think we can do this in the big group, but I think you all are so awesome. I think we can get into these breakout rooms. But here's the deal. You have literally, you have like 30-second share. So you're only going to pick one thing. Pass the mic. Mika?
Yeah. Guess what? I have great news. We actually have a longer amount of time for this. So we actually had allotted more time. So we've got plenty of time actually for this breakout piece.
Okay.
Great news.
Awesome. So what's the new time breakout, Mika, if you could give me so that I can set people up properly?
We actually have until 3, let's see. So we've got 35 minutes.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So we could come back and be able to share too. So we could share out in the breakout and then maybe share a little something all as a group.
Absolutely. So you're going to land into your breakout room. You're going to have 8, maybe 9 people in your breakout room. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. You don't have to pick just one because we actually have the time. But here's what I would love for you to do. Focus in on 2 minutes to respond to those 4 questions. Okay? So you're going to have 2 minutes. Check your notes, give your summary, and then pass the mic. We want to make sure that everybody in your breakout room gets a chance to share what's got them energized, inspired, and on fire. Then we're going to come back and I want to bring a few of your voices into the room. Christine, listen, because Guam showed up, because Claire came in from Oregon, throwing all kind of flamethrowers around here. Christina came in with the jet engines. I'm going to change up my soundtrack. When y'all come back in here. So you're going to have 2 minutes each. Pass the mic. Once you share, pass the mic, keep it moving. And then we will bring you back in about 15, maybe 16 minutes, okay? Big Kool-Aid grins, if that makes sense, thumbs up. Excellent. Check for that join breakout room button. All right, JR, welcome back. Good to see everybody. Welcome back, Melissa. All right, Claire, good to see you. Okay, my wonder people. So as your peers were presenting, I was noticing all of the smoke coming up off of your ink pens as you were writing across the page feverishly. I became afraid for you. I started to call 911 to say, no Zoom, don't burn up the notes. That's the gold. So here's what we want to do. Would love to, right before I hand the mic over to Patrick, like I said, I'd love to bring 2, 3, 4, 5 of your voices in. What are the things that you all not only heard that have you energized, inspired, and or on fire, but what are you going to do? We don't want to just stir you up and get you energized. I want to stir you up and get you energized so that you can do something else. You can do something new, right? You're going to reach out to somebody. What's that thing that you're going to do as a result of this conversation today that's going to have some kind of a new opportunity show up for your families? So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, first of all, give me a digital raised hand or a hand in the screen. You can give me a high five, a fist bump in the screen, whichever. I'll take it. So go ahead and if you could raise a digital hand, if you've got, hey, one or two things. I know in the breakout room I was in, I heard some really awesome stuff going back and forth between Hawaii and Alaska and Washington State. So don't worry, guys. I'm not going to put you on Front Street. I'm not going to put you on Front Street. So let me have Ms. Smith. I think I saw your hand up there. Ms. Pat, is there something that you needed to share with us before we get going?
No, I was just giving you a digital thumbs up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, my people, don't listen. Don't everybody hurt, don't hurt anybody trying to run to the microphone and get that digital hand raised because they won't invite me back if too many people get hurt. All right. So raise your digital hand just so that I can see you and unmute and let us know, what did you hear that's got you on fire and what are you going to do? Who are you following up with? What are you going to take? What ball are you taking and run with it as a result of this conversation today? Christine, you got it, my friend.
I'm going to take a plane to Hawaii. I'm really interested in learning more about their exit employment retention bonus program. Again, we're very much alike because we're both islandy programs.
Yes, yes. Now, I don't know if your program specialist will support the plane ticket. However, we can facilitate a Zoom connection. We can definitely do that. Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much. Others? What are you going to take away from today that's going to be more than a good conversation? What are you going to do with what you heard today? What are you going to do with what got stirred up for you today? Miguel.
Hi. So one, I'm really interested more to learn a lot about California and their implicit bias trainings that are mandatory for workers, for staff. I like that. But one thing that I know that is in our control, at least I think, Claire, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also really love their state parks to all their TANF families passes. So that's something that I think is actually pretty not more feasible, but that's something that we can do, like start getting those conversations, start getting those actions, something that may not require like additional funding from legislature, depending on how we spin it. So I really love that idea. Getting people out into the community and into nature helps the whole being.
Absolutely. Come on, Miguel. I see how y'all do things in Oregon. Y'all do flamethrowing activity as a regular thing up there. Now, when I was visiting virtually last year, I did not notice this, but I'm aware you all are doing some next level things in Oregon. Thank you so much, Miguel. I'd love to get one more. What are you doing with what you heard today? We don't want to just stir you up and get you excited. We want you to be stirred up and excited, and we want to know how we can support you. That's what this question, that's the method behind the madness. How can we support you taking that initial step so that you can get something, you can really get cooking with gas? Go ahead, Julie.
Well, since they're not jumping in, I'm just going to give them both a heads up, but I will be connecting Hawaii and Nevada. Hawaii has a program element that Nevada is interested in, and Nevada is doing something that Hawaii is interested in around creating career pathways and partnerships with labor. So I will be connecting those two. So heads up, Hawaii and Nevada.
So that is, just so that you all know, we had note takers in every room, not to eavesdrop on your conversations, JR, not to eavesdrop. What we were trying to do, as I said, is we want to facilitate the kinds of love connections that will actually support you all in doing the work that you have committed to do and in doing the work that you said has stirred your soul. So with that, as you are thinking about today, keep those notes handy. We wanted to make sure that you all had a place to capture that. You have access to the slides today, so you have names associated with information that was shared. So you can also certainly reach out, but your program specialists are here to also assist you in connecting across the ethers here to keep those ideas hot and popping, as they say. Maybe that's only in my own mind where we say that, but whatever. So with that, Julie, I want to go ahead and hand it back to you. And if I could just, and if you all could indulge me for just like 10 more seconds, it has been a joy and a privilege and a pleasure to be with you all, to hear some of the phenomenal things coming out of Regions 9 and 10. You all have certainly got me thinking creatively, and I can't wait to get you all connected with some other folks so that they can learn from you and they can also contribute to you. So thank you so much for everything that you all are doing across Regions 9 and 10. We appreciate you. I know I certainly do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Let's get that big round of applause in for yourself. Yes, yes, yes. Julie, I give the mic to you, my friend.
Thank you, Dr. Nicole. Thank you so much for your energy and fantastic facilitation skills and the music and humor. Thank you all participants for your fantastic presentations today and your engagement. And we will be poking you about connecting. So let us know who you want to connect with. Let us know how you're going to move this work forward. I was really overwhelmed, actually, to no matter what, how different the elements in all of your programs are and the innovations and initiatives. There was a theme, and that theme was that you all are taking incredibly meaningful steps to pivot and to right the historic wrongs of historic wrongs within that are kind of built into welfare and the welfare system on the continuum. You're pivoting that and to correct that and to create human-centered, family-centered, anti-racist based services and programs. And that is so exciting. Thank you for your work. I am going to pass the mic to Patrick Hyman, who's a program specialist in Region 10, to close us out. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. You've already actually done a pretty good job of closing us out already. So I'll just wave and say goodbye now. So I'll keep my closing comments really sweet and short today. Just first off, big thank you to all of our state rep speakers from today who shared all of their knowledge and expertise. Thanks, of course, Dr. Nicole, for keeping us rolling in such an amazing way. And thanks to everybody else as well who attended today. I know folks are incredibly busy. So it's, I think, a real testament to the dedication to your programs that you made the time to be here today. So thanks, everyone. We will meet up again here tomorrow at 1. And I think one more real quick important step. Please take a moment to complete the evaluation. That link should be now in the chat box. Maybe. Dramatic pause. Ta-da. All right, perfect timing. So if you can, please take a moment to fill that out. As always, your feedback is incredibly critical, important as we kind of look forward to planning future meetings along these lines. So with that, again, please complete the eval, and we will see everyone tomorrow. Thanks again.
And don't forget to put your playlist jams for the next meeting. Don't forget to include that on your evaluation. Favorite songs for dancing shoes.